Welcome back to Spokane. 139 pounds on the mat right now in the blue. Cary Kolat with the first point of the matchup.
Hey everyone, Cary Kolat here, 2000 Olympian, two-time NCAA champion, two-time world medalist. My sweep single, literally I developed into a combo. One, I had a rule for my setup. There's multiple ways to get into a sweep single, but I like to set the tone in the matches. Like I wanted to put hands on the guy from the time we shook hands. I wanted to get ready, I wanted to get going, and I wanted to control the pace. So I always have this rule that I use when I'm coaching now, that the old saying, keep it simple, stupid. I love the cross hand setup, and it was literally just a hit. Just hit and go. And so we'll talk about the hit and go in my swing single. And then in freestyle, you always want to develop your transitions and takedowns. Takedown to a turn. The best guys have takedowns to a turn. And based on how you move and attack, there's going to be certain elements that happen. He's going to fall a certain way because of how you hit a move and how you hit a shot. And for me, my single, if I got a guy to a foot, I'd get him to bell out. So then I learned to transition either into my crotch lift or kind of a variation of mini bow and arrow into a crotch lift. But here it is, and hopefully you enjoy it.
Welcome back to Spokane. 139 pounds on the mat right now in the blue. Cary Kolat with the first point of the matchup.
So to talk about my setup, again, very simple. My opponents would come out, and if I'm fired up and ready to go, we might shake hands, right? And that whistle would blow. And I wanted to set the tone. A lot of guys, boom, want to come here, right? They want to grab you. For me, it was about creating an opening, and on this one. And I could get my single to open up. So all I'm doing is coming with my free hand, right? I got my shooting hand ready to go, and all I like to do is a big, heavy hit, right? And that hit might be bang here. What that does is, it opens that position. This guy becomes afraid of an attack here, and it causes that quick step a lot of times. So when I would hit my opponents and start to transition that move, they have to follow me. So when I hit and they follow, now my level change would happen, and my step specifically would go to the outside of my single.
Welcome back to Spokane. 139 pounds on the mat right now.
So I like to talk about my single leg. I don't lock my hands on my single leg. A lot of people always teach shot and lock your single, but I found it was better for me to be mobile, and especially in freestyle. My rule in freestyle, and this is something I learned from John Smith, he said, Cary, my only goal was to get past the guy's defenses, his head and his hands. If I got under someone, I knew I was going to take him down. So when he said that to me, I started thinking the same way. If I can get past the guy's head and hands, I just wanted to get under a guy. But then I also found, when thinking like that, if I had my hands on the mat, I was more mobile and quicker. When I hit my single, I don't lock, so if I go from that hit, when I drop, I would go my palm on the mat. I felt like it made me quicker. And then specifically, I would use that hand to help me push and corner, and I'm stepping outside. So it was a hit, drop, push. And now I've got some balance on the mat before I start blowing up into him and transitioning into that high leg finish here. So I've swept, I brought it up, and it's trapped. I was a short guy for my weight class, so I developed a little trick that helped me, I feel like. I didn't just hold here, my free hand, and you're gonna see the motion in his leg. I literally would bring it through and punch it to the sky. And if I just focus on the arm and I don't do anything with my body weight, you're gonna see his foot move from here to, he's already starting to go. Then, if I add raising to my toes, and I add my free leg coming in, I didn't sit here and kick because everybody I wrestled was always taller than me, so I couldn't always reach. My only goal was to lift that knee and then kind of block that foot so Mason can't get it stabilized underneath of him. So it's gonna be right here. It's not a kick, it's a block. So I lift and up. Then body weight, and I'm putting pressure on that spine.
Welcome back to Spokane. 139 pounds on the mat right now in the blue. Cary Kolat with the first point of the matchup.
So back to freestyle and transitions. My day was 1 for a takedown, 2 for a turn. Probably more passivities in my day. We went down. You know, you had to be good defensively down on the mat. You had to be good offensively on top. So out of this single, if I kick and I try to sweep, this guy does everything he can to not give up that 3, and I would catch guys in midair and they'd have to belly back down. But it would put me right in line with the kind of a variation of a crotch lift, because I've already got this foot trapped. So lift, so he lands belly down. Notice how when he turns his hips down, how it transitions my grip. This is the grip I want, and it naturally is transitioned where my armpit was in my armpit, it's wrapped. Now I have this ankle. And then immediately my mind goes to putting pressure on the guy's spine. That's how a crotch lift works. At the senior level, you can bend the guy in half. You can bend the guy in half, I think at the junior level now, they let you get away a little bit more. But my transition starts to go outside to catch his hips. So I transition and block, and you see my bottom knee starting to peek through here. So the final thing, once I poke that knee through, and I've got him loaded in that crotch lift, in practice, I always tell people, practice, there's a gear in certain positions in practice. This is one of those gears. Don't break your teammate's back. But in competition, you go. It's not your job to keep the guy safe, it's the referee's job. What's gonna happen is, if the guy's any good, he's gonna start trying to push up. Right there. And so my knee points to the ceiling, my elbow and body weight's here, and you're gonna see that bow start to happen. He'll try to he'll even start to naturally crawl away because I'm going forward toward his head as I push my hips to the ceiling. So we're up in here, here, here. Once he's loaded, there's that pull, and it's an angle change pop. Keep it simple, stupid, hit and go. Hey, let me tell you something about hitting. Once you develop a reputation, you get to do more, you know? A lot of people don't like it. They say champions don't get called for stalling as much. Reputation gives them the benefit of the doubt. That guy hit me hard. He's a national champ, he's gonna hit you hard. You know, we've all heard that. When you haven't built the reputation, you don't get away as much. So I always, as a coach, I always tell my team, build the team reputation, we're gonna get more stalling calls. So as an athlete, when you do it, you get to hit a little harder. Then you get to bend guys in half more. Remember when that single leg, he bails, knee under, pressure on his back, bend him in half, that's the goal. You bend him in half because he wants to go over. But you get to do more of that as you get better technique and you win more, perfect more, you get away with a lot more.